Good afternoon, YouTube. Welcome back to Fat Cat Collections. Today I want to share with you guys another smart scale for your fitness journey. And this is by a company that goes by the name of Loftilla. And they were nice enough to send me 3 of their scales. If you haven't checked out the video I did the other day on the body mass, body composition analyzing scale, check that out. Link is in the description. There's also a link in the description to not only that scale, but this scale where you can read more about it on Amazon. And of course, the third scale that I may have reviewed already, or depending on when you watch this video. So the scale I want to share with you guys today is this one right here. A very clean, simple body weight, body mass scale by, again, Loftilla. So what I love about these scales is they really take the guesswork out of tracking your weight journey or your progress. Now, first off the bat, I want to state that I recommend, if you're going to get one of these, you just spend the extra $10 and you get the what I would consider the upgraded version. Again, link is in the description to that one as well. $26. This one is $16.79 with free delivery with Amazon Prime. But this one here only tracks your weight. Now, both scales, all 3 scales, have the ability to sync up with the app and have multiple users, but this is only going to track your body weight. The other scale that I've reviewed or going to review is basically the exact same scale, but it's a 2020 version. So there's just basically a couple cosmetic differences. That's about it. So really for $16, although this is a great scale, and hey, you know, if you only got $16 to spend, this is still a great option. But for $10 more, you can get the scale that tracks your body composition, like how much muscle mass you have, your bone density, protein, water, that kind of stuff. And I think it's a much better scale for the money. Plus, it's quite a bit larger, so a little bit easier to stand on. So, but let's talk about this scale regardless. So, again, it does come with the Loftilla app that is free to download through through the Google Play Store or the Apple Store. It weighs 2.2 pounds. It is made of glass. It is available in 2 different color variations. If you want the black version, you get black or white. It'll support up to 400 pounds. Has 4 very accurate sensors, which is how it reads your weight. It'll support up to 400 pounds. I think I just said that actually. And it'll sync with your smartphone. So it does give you the body mass index, but that's just basically kind of like a rough index of your height versus your weight. And that's not always going to be super accurate. If you're a guy or a girl who carries more muscle, it's going to rate you as being obese. Now me, I am technically rated obese. Now I could definitely drop about 20 pounds, which would just be fat. But again, depending on your lifestyle, depending on what you like to eat, that may be something that's important to you and may not be important to you. So it really depends on the person. Other people, there's guys who are, you know, I'm about 5'7". There's guys who weigh, you know, excess of 200 pounds that are just solid muscle. They're going to be rated as obese. So body weight and height isn't really an indication of whether you're obese or not. It's just kind of a rough idea, a rough measurement. Again, a lot of these things do have athletic mode, which you can turn on the athletic mode of the app and now kind of compensate for that extra weight difference. But I will tell you, if you get the version that has the sensors on it, which will actually measure through an electrical charge, you don't feel anything, but it'll measure how much muscle you have, how much skeletal muscle you have, the visceral fat, all these 14 different categories. It'll give you a pretty good idea of where you stand. I know for me, I weigh about 183 to 188 at this point in my life with my diet and how I'm working out. When it gives me my reading as far as how much muscle I have, I'm right about 160, just plain old muscle, right? And it'll give you the measurement also, which is just muscle mass. So you have muscle mass, then of course you have the muscle, I think like muscle and organs, stuff like that, and then you have your fat reading. It's pretty accurate. I would say roughly. Well, let me just state. It's hard for me to imagine that. I remember when I was younger and I worked out pretty hardcore with weights, going to the gym. I could lift heavier weight then. Joints didn't hurt as bad. I know my best weight was about 168 at about 21 years old. And I ate a lot of food and I worked out like a madman. I got 10 hours sleep a night. And even with all those things that I was doing at that age with my metabolism, 168, I still never had like a six-pack. And a six-pack is really kind of You know, it depends upon the size of your muscles as well. So everybody's body's different. You know, I was still pretty darn lean, but not to the point where you see some of these guys where you have the striations coming out of their chest. And so I look back at that weight in my age. When I look at myself now, I'd say it's pretty accurate that I'm sure as I've gotten older, I've gained more muscle, but I don't know if I could really get that much under 168 or about 170 pounds. I think I would start to become awfully lean, and for me to actually get to the point where my point is I can't imagine that 25 pounds off my body would bring me to the point where I wasn't just shredded. So with that being said, I think these scales do give kind of a somewhat accurate measurement as far as your body composition, but remember, it's a tool. Now again, this one doesn't have that, so I highly encourage you, if you're going to spend the money, just go ahead and spend the $10 extra and get the scale that not only is it larger, but it's going to give you that body fat rating as well. That's about it. Other than that, it syncs up with Bluetooth, and this scale is going to be very similar to the other scale, which honestly I don't even know if I'm going to. I'll just show you guys now in this video, because these are basically there's two different listings, but they're the exact same scale. And when I agreed to the video for this company, I was in the impression that these were different scales, and they're not. They're just basically the exact same thing. Just one has these kind of, you can see this one has kind of these kind of curves, these kind of chrome curves under the glass. So other than that, they're really identical in every way. I think one has, if I remember correctly, one doesn't have batteries. I think one has a white LED display for your weight, and then of course the other one I think has a red. So personal preference, I mean, get the one that you prefer. I will put the links to both these in the description. You can decide which one you like more. Again, it is available white or black. Takes 2 AAA batteries, does come with that. You could change the measurement for pounds or kilograms depending on what you prefer. And again, with the Loftilla app, it'll store all that data in your phone for you to track. So again, even if you're like, yeah, I don't want to spend, again, my point is, even if you don't want to spend $26 for the extra readings, you just want a basic scale, like my folks, they don't have smartphones, right? They have one flip phone, and half the time it's on the kitchen table. So for them to have the app and spend the extra $10, the only real selling feature for that for them would be the size of the scale's bigger. Everything else is the same. So if you're not if you're, I don't want to say older folk, but if you're a less, I guess, technologically inclined folks, if you're not into this tech and the smart homes, hey, I get it. If you just want something just to give you your reading, then buy this scale for 16 bucks. You really can't go wrong. Easier to read than your standard scale with the needle. I'm going to give one of these scales to my folks because they have an old school standard scale, and honestly, it's hard for me to read, so I can imagine them. It takes the guesswork out. You stand on it, it gives you the measurement, and you're good to go. So again, if you have a smartphone, very nice to be able to track all that data right in your app. For me personally, I wear contacts and glasses. I can't see I'm blind as a bat without those things. So if I wake up in the morning and I want to weigh myself, if I don't have glasses on, I can't see the scale at all, any scale. I can barely see the actual scale to step on it. So for me, I'll just get on it, stand on it, let it sync. I roughly know the time frame it takes to do that. Sync up my phone. The other scale that I reviewed has Wi-Fi, so I don't have to worry about the location of my phone, and I'll just look at it later on. So just everybody's different, something to think about. I do want to thank again Loftilla for the generosity and sending me all 3 of these scales. I chose the white because a lot of times people's bathrooms are I would say lighter, but again, you may want something that's dark so you can see it easier on a lighter floor. Just depends, at least you have a couple options, guys. So anyway, I want to thank again Loftilla for the generosity. If you guys have any questions whatsoever, don't hesitate to ask. Remember, guys, all these things are tools just to get you moving, get you started. If buying a scale and starting to track your weight with a nifty smart home app or as a Android app or iOS app starts you from tracking your weight to maybe walking around the street and starting to do something, a couple push-ups, and just starting your process. Anything you could do to just keep moving is good. I can just tell you, from a guy who used to work out hardcore in the gym to almost to the point, honestly, where I dabbled almost in a lot of my buddies' time were doing steroids. And, I thought about it because it was really important to me. And luckily I didn't, because I just feel like it's not, I just don't feel. Everybody has their own arguments, but for me, I'm glad I didn't do it. I've never done a drug in my life. I'm glad that I don't have that to add to the list. And you know, I just I understand some people are really over the top about it. And for me, I like a balance. You know, I like to be able to eat what I want. If for me to be able to eat pizza and eat all the things I want means that I carry a little extra fat on me, but I still get out and move around. Then you know, it's a healthy balance for me to be happy and continue to do it. You know, I know those times back in the day where it's just like, you know, I would just dread going to the gym. Now being able to do everything at home, you know, it's just whatever. My point is whatever makes it easier for you to do it, whatever motivates you just to move around and be healthier, it's a good thing. You know, I can tell you that, you know, joints as you get older, you know, things, I can't push the weight around like I did when I was younger. I mean, everything hurts. You know, even swinging on the bag. I mean, you know, when I work out, I've never really been able to kind of do things in moderation. You know, I go kind of hardcore on things, and again, there are guys who go way harder than me. But for me, I know, you know, I'll keep going, and you know, and now, I mean, it definitely takes me. Sometimes I'll take a week off. This week I took a week off because just my joints hurt so much. So again, getting to my point is that moving around helps. You know, the less I do, the worse I feel. The more I move around, the more I use the muscles that I have, the joints that I have. You know, like the old saying, if you don't use it, you lose it. It's true. So the more you can do to keep your mobility is good. So if a $16 scale helps you to do that, or a $10 Fitbit, whatever it may be, then these are all good things. So anyway, guys, let me know if I can help in any way. Links are in the description. Drop me a comment, drop me an email if I can help. Anyway, guys, subscribe to the channel. And you guys take care.